Hi everyone, this is Arman and it's final time to animate Tracer from Overwatch. We'll be using Spine Tool 4.0 version that opens us Curve Editor. I'm super excited to use it and show you some tips that I learned it. I don't have much experience, but I have some tips. But before starting animation, I want you to show some technique that I built on it most of my animation. So here we go. I've created a bone here to show you an example. Basically, I want to explain how I move most of the bones in my skeleton. So when the bone is moving, it means some force is applied at some point. Mostly in spine, the force would be applied at the base, the origin point of the bone. So for example, if we move this up, that means this bone would have force applied at this point and the tip should be with a delay, because it has a mass, it has inertia and all the stuff. So to achieve this effect, I would, for example, let's assume we have force applied here that moves the bone right. I would also rotate to the right. And when the force gets applied to this, I would also rotate to this direction. Let's copy 0 frame to 40 to achieve a nice loop. And to get it smoother, let's select all keys in graph view. Let's click this button. It does the same as you would do in previous Spine version. With old graph editor, you click this button and it behaves the same way. So we have a nice animation. What it would make complete if we offset rotation. With this button you can do it, and here we have origin point moving and later tip is following it with a little delay. Delay depends on how long is the span. If it's shorter like this, that means I would delay with the little frames. And it also depends how long is the bone. For example, for fingers, I would do the delay 1 frame mostly. Okay, that was it. Let's do an actual animation. We will be doing a breathing animation, idle, and I may be explaining some more stuff there. Let's create a new animation by double clicking here and give it an idle name. And before starting any animation, I'm thinking where the action happens first. So in this case, the action would happen in chest. Character expands the chest to inhale the air, and after that the action propagates into the child bones. So these fingers would have the most delayed. And actually I am working with these 3 bones most of the time. At the start I am polishing them as much as I can with the graph editor and everything, so I get the timing perfectly, and after that I start from feet and everything else. So these are the main drivers of my animation. Okay, let's create 2 poses, contraction and expansion. Character will expand when it inhales, and of course contract when it exhales. Let's create those 2 poses. For that I will select this 2 bone chain, and with pose tool I can work on contraction pose, a little bit contracting them, a little bit, and working with the other bones. I will also move the shoulders back to the chest to give a little bit illusion that chest is actually contracting. Okay, let's work on the other parts. By the way, you can store selection when you are working with multiple bones, or meshes. Everything is storeable, I think, selection. So in this case you would select, and with control you can hit 1 or 2, any number on the keyboard. It will be saved, selection 1 stored, and after that you can recall it with just hitting on 1. This is very useful. I will also move the pelvis down, even though in reality this part wouldn't be moving, only the top part. But in reality it's not interesting. We are going to exaggerate this animation so you can see better. In most of the games animation are exaggerated. Animations are working on posture. So the first, if the animation is very complex, you are thinking about poses, and later you just fill them in. Okay, I think I'm happy with this construction pose, maybe a little bit this. Let's next put on frame 20 and make the expansion pose. For that, again, I will select this bone and make a nice expansion. Let's move the shoulder out, and same would go with the arms and of course fingers. Let's move this up and maybe down a little bit in construction pose. Let's check them. This is contraction, this is expansion. I think in expansion I need to work on the neck and head a little bit. Maybe move up and move down. And let's also do some little bit scaling. We can see that when we scale it, the arms and the head are not scaling. This is because the inheritance is disabled for those bones that are children to this bone. Here you can see. Okay, let's resize it and make it bigger here. Yeah, I think it's good. Let me check the numbers. Yeah, it's enough. Okay, next we need to copy 0 frame to 40. This way we will have basically one loop, and we can already see that this is too much. Let's copy to the 40, and maybe this bone would also can go not only down but forward. Yeah, this is good, and maybe a little bit backward. Yeah, this is good. We can actually make this bone move with an elliptical path without using any paths. I will show it in a moment. Yeah, I think everything is working. I will do some fixes in animation when I see it already smoothened and with the delays. So to smoothen it, we select all keys, go to in graph view, and we have several options. First is this one. This will just basically, let me show the graphs. This will basically enable the Bezier mode, Bezier curves. So let me go into the zoom one graph. So curve, you can see how they look right now. When I click on this, it will create a curve at the middle sections, everywhere except the start and end. So this is not what we were used to when we're using old spine version. Let's try another button. And this right now will look same, but you will see the difference when you have multiple keys here. It tries to align in a smooth curve. You will see it in action maybe in other animations. And what we are looking for is this one. This will straighten all the handles here, which will give the result that we were used to when we were playing with the other spine version, older spine version. So let's select the all. Let's enable all curves, select them all with Ctrl A and hit this button. Okay, now let's see the animation. This is smooth, this is super smooth. Next, let's do the delaying. You remember that I explained the way I delay, and right now I'm going to delay rotations, full shoulders, and of course everything that has transform and rotation. They would be needed delays. And right now, if I rotate if the arm rotates at expansion at 22, that means this has to be delayed considering that 22. And you can see when we offset it, we still see the number even though we released. So when we offset this part, we can see where we want to go. I think this would work cool. And let's also do this and this. Now we have arms offsetted. And let's do the elliptical movement. For that, we will select this bone. We will enable separate translate. That will create two timelines for X and Y. You can see also they enable two buttons here. What we need to do is offset in a quarter phase, I think. So this would work in this situation. You can see that it moves elliptical. This is super awesome. Before we were using with making it with two bones, or worse, we were using path constraint. Okay, the next thing you want to polish, especially fingers, would be like enabling preview window and playing idle animation, the one we have created. I will make it bigger so we can see. And here you even can disable it, hide controls, disable controls. Okay, now what it gives us is it gives us that we can stop animation here and play some work with the bones and some move timelines along, and it will show exactly what happens there. So for that, I will select this hip and maybe adjust, offset them until I get satisfied. Yeah, this looks good for me. And you can do the same thing for the fingers. Let me actually delay the fingers. I will select second bones of all fingers and just with one gesture offset them, and offset also this. Also let's offset a little bit, 2 frames, 1 frame. I'm offsetting the fingers so they look more natural. 1 frame is enough. Let's do the same for this arm. We can see something is happening here already. Okay, now we just need to select these fingers and checking on preview window, we can offset them until we satisfied. I'm working with 4 fingers. Okay, now let's work with the thumb, because sometimes they need different timing. I think that's cool. Same word for this. Yeah, this works fine. Let's also work with the thumb. Thumb actually is not noticeable. Let's leave it there. Okay, similarly we can work on these straps, but I'm not going into details just to not make this video super long. We can also work with the face. You can see we have rigged it without constraint. Okay, that was it. Thank you for watching. Next we will be working with walking animation. I'm super excited again, also a little bit scared, because I don't have any education background in animation. I just watched a bunch of YouTube videos, so I'll be careful with the information I share with you. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Make sure you have subscribed to not miss it. Bye.